LEGO just revealed some of their most exciting sets this year, which are all fall releases. This includes Arkham, a new LEGO Game Boy, finally another Stranger Things set, and even some Wicked sets, one of which kicks butt. Okay, honestly, a few of them kick butt. Arkham Asylum. It seems like LEGO is giving us DC modulars now. I guess the Marvel ones were so successful, and yeah, I'm super hyped for more DC modulars. This one even teasing the Daily Planet. As for Arkham, this releases the 12th of September 2025, and this has a total of 2,953 pieces, where it will retail for $300 with 16 minifigures, a whole CMF series of minifigures, in the OG count at that. Now, this is something that is a corner modular if you look at it, and while we have gotten direct-to-consumer Arkham Asylums before, none of them have been this complete. I mean, this is fully enclosed, which is very welcome. I love how the cell block kind of has like that movie cliche cell block design. I haven't really seen that in a LEGO set, and that works really well. You can see how you could slide each of those doors open. But there is a breakout feature where these panels just kind of pop out at the back. Again, that's where you see that Visit Metropolis sticker, which is awesome. Seemingly a side wall can be used to break out the villains as well. The press release boasts how there's 65 stickers referencing Batman lore. Just taking a look at the control room, look at this maximum security cell, which is pretty dark. I'm glad they included that. The design to the right has this board, which has stand up with Mr. J. That's great. There's also the photosynthesis equation there. And this might be a print and not a sticker, but it's the Dark Knight Returns cover. That's awesome. I think that's a newspaper. Other details like a height chart which references King Shark, who's not in this set. Really? Like, you don't want to put King Shark in this set, which is a character we've never gotten. And that's one of my gripes with this set. The minifigure selection is actually pretty bad. First off, majority of the villains are stuck to these jumpsuits, which is a basic print that just gets spammed across. I mean, at least there's leg printing. But when you have characters we don't usually get, like Scarecrow, Killer Croc, and Bane stuck to those jumpsuits, it's very annoying. And you know, we don't really get Batman sets in general, so having any of the characters stuck to this generic suit kind of sucks. I mean, yes, I know it makes sense in context, but ideally, you would include different outfits for these characters to switch into. Look, I love the reintroduction of Killer Croc just as a plain minifigure head. That is very nostalgic to me, so I like that return, but it sucks that we don't have the rest of that character. He's always going to be stuck in the Arkham jumpsuit. Bane is the same way, where it's like, okay, we haven't gotten a minifigure style Bane in so long, and now he's just stuck to that jumpsuit. The design of Poison Ivy I really love. I mean, seemingly she uses the Glinda hair from Wicked, which works really well in a new red recolor. Love that minifigure, and at least she has new torso and leg printing that isn't a jumpsuit. We get the same Mr. Freeze from that junior set this very year. A new Catwoman, which, okay, at least there's some cool prints there, but why are we sticking to using the Black Panther ears there? There was that lovely mask piece that we just haven't seen in years for Catwoman. The only new character would be Batwing, which we haven't gotten in any sets before. That's a cool design. I mean, I like the Electro torso, which reminds me of that one book figure. I was shocked that Batwoman is technically new because this is the same design I thought we got in like 2018 and 2019, but you could see the slightest differences in the torso print there. One of the lamest figures is Scarecrow because they don't even include Scarecrow's hat. Like, what the? Come on. And speaking of like head scratchers, you have Clayface on this computer here. A minifigure scale Clayface would be peak, and they have not done that. They still have not done that. So yeah, still the build of this I really like. I mean, I think the interior is necessarily packed, and I think the exterior is a gorgeous display piece for DC's first modular. The one thing I don't like build-wise would be just the amount of stickers. I mean, you could see how they pop out even with these roof stickers right here, where you can see the outline for the stickers, and they have a different texture than the roof bricks that they're on. But it's not the biggest deal. I have to grow to be used to stickers. Oh yeah, one little secret minifigure is this statue at the front. So that could be like the 17th figure, and I love the design that they have for that face print there. That's pretty awesome, all marked up and everything. Batman is the most basic Batman from the recent sets. The design of Robin is Damian, which I like the torso print there. and at least he has mid legs. I also like how he seemingly has a cape that's yellow on one side and black on the other side, which has a good cut to it as well. The Harley Quinn figure is similar to the 2022 one, and that's the first time we're getting that hairpiece for Joker, though we did get it in one piece in the same color. And the design of the two guards are just generic guards. The new Riddler's alright. I like the printing on the hat. The transporter van is really neat, and I like the little mechanic penguin builds. This set might have the only direct reference to a gay couple in Lego with this sticker right here. This I'm not sure I would buy, but dang it, if they do a Daily Planet, I'm buying that day one. This is the Lego Game Boy, which is something super nostalgic to me. This will retail for $60 in the United States, where it has a total of 421 pieces. Yeah, we'll get to that price in a little bit. The design of this has not only Super Mario Land as a buildable cartridge, but Link's Awakening as a buildable cartridge. And these coincide with these cards that they include so that you could change the screens of the Game Boy itself. No, you can't actually play Game Boy games on here. Instead, the lenticular cards imitate some images from the actual game. I know, part of me was hoping that, I remember there's like a patent a couple years ago where Nintendo patented a Game Boy emulator, and we thought, okay, maybe there'll be a Game Boy Classic. And I was like, okay, this could be the Game Boy Classic, but there's no electronic features in here whatsoever, not even a light brick. Regardless, you put those cartridges just as you would with a Nintendo Game Boy IRL. However, this time, that section where the cartridges are held can be removed easily, and that's where you would swap out those screens. There's also a screen for the Nintendo Game Boy loading up logo. It's funny because that part that removes is part of the battery casing, but the battery casing doesn't seem to remove. So it's kind of misleading if you know how a Game Boy works, but it doesn't matter to me. What I don't like though is how many indentations are just kind of implied here. You could see that the top of that is just a print, it seems like. It's not going to be a part that's easy to remove from that little hatch right there. Rather, you just remove it from that top part. The same could be said with the indentation that's on the front sound system. They use this corner piece, which works well, but instead we just have those sound slits printed on. Regardless, I love the prints on here beyond those. Like, look, they copy everything perfectly. The Nintendo Game Boy logo on a tile, the battery light right there, which, again, I would kind of wish was a light brick or something like that. Dot matrix with stereo sound being two tiles, the off and on switch sign being a tile at the top. At the side, you have the audio control as another tile, which I love how they use that Technic gear piece there for the audio slider. The start and select button and the phone jack logo at the bottom. This is all fantastic. Speaking of the buttons, I kind of like how they have actual indentations for the build for the select and start button, which I'm guessing will use like a wheel piece because those are kind of rubbery IRL. The design of the A and B button, I'm not even sure what piece they use there. Looks like it could be a minifigure piece, like maybe a new hat piece or something. I'm very curious to see how it turns out. And the control pad is like the piece that whenever I looked at it before this set, I would be like, oh, that's a control pad piece. So yeah, that fits perfectly. This is super nostalgic to me. I mean, I grew up on my Game Boy Color. I did have an original Game Boy, but it was when I was super young, and it was like the red copy. It wasn't this specific coloring, the OG coloring. And Super Mario Land is one of the games that my whole family played, like on car trips. We would play the crap out of that. My mom loved it especially. And Link's Awakening, I never really played, but I played the crap out of Link's Awakening DX, which was the Game Boy Color variant. So I love the two games they chose, and I love how this doubles as a new Zelda and Mario set. However, I can't get over that price. $60 for everything that's included. This would be perfect at like $40. But no, $60. I wish they would have included more games. I mean, look, I know that putting Tetris in here would be a pipe dream since Nintendo doesn't own Tetris, but that's like the most iconic Game Boy game. Besides Pokemon. Pokemon Nintendo owns. The Pokemon license starts in January. Maybe hold off on releasing this if the licensing rights didn't play out in time, and give us Pokemon Red, Blue, or Yellow as a cartridge and screen in here. That's very annoying that they don't have any Pokemon references in here. So yeah, I'm pretty disappointed by the price, and I wish there was more games, but this does play up to my nostalgia, copying one of my favorite game consoles of all time in a very perfect shaping. This seriously looks incredible from so many angles. Heck, I forgot to even talk about the cartridges. Once again, we lose some indentation with a tile at the top there, all being just the printed Nintendo Game Boy cartridge top. I'm not sure if this is like a factory applied sticker. It very well could be, but there's a sticker used for both of the cartridge fronts. It seems like it's a lot thicker than a regular sticker, which is why I'm saying that. Once again, great angles captured for the cartridges, and I also like the underside of them, which seemingly goes into a locking feature when you put it into the Game Boy. And note how there's a stand for the Game Boy as well as a stand for one of the cartridges. For Wicked for Good, there's this Emerald City wall art set. This is going to release on the 1st of September, along with that other Wicked minifigure set. I'm glad that LEGO learned and they're doing Wicked minifigure sets instead of sticking to mini dolls, giving us another one, which, I mean, I'm just mind blown by that. The design of this honestly looks beautiful in its micro scale build. This is exactly what I wanted with that last set. The best part though is the minifigures. I absolutely love how they have the classic Wizard of Oz characters, which apparently will play into Wicked Part 2. No spoilers in the comments for Wicked, not everybody has seen the musical. We have the Scarecrow, who has an awesome face, torso, and leg printing. A new Tin Man, which they reused that design for the hat. Like, if you don't remember, they had these characters back in the Lego Movie 2 series, and they're reusing pieces for the Tin Man from there, and new prints altogether. They have a design for Dorothy, which reuses that one-time use hair piece with the little bows. This time we have them with white bows. Love the torso and legs, which will be great for just casual wear for Flesh minifigures. I guess Toto is now a German Shepherd. And then for the Cowardly Lion, we have a new piece altogether, which is a sitting down piece. I'm quite amazed by that. Hopefully that means we're getting like Lego Lion King figure sets sometime. Look, I could dream, right? But yeah, that molding looks great. Almost a little bit shaped like a mini doll animal, but it still works for me. The design for Elfie and Glinda are different from that other minifigure set. Elfie has a design that's slightly different for the torso and legs if you look closely. And she also has that shoulder piece this time. And then Glinda has a totally different dress, which looks absolutely beautiful. Love the shine that's going on there. But yeah, the wall art itself, I think, is such a more interesting build than that other set. I love the colors they capture here. I love the dimensions they capture here, even though they're using flat pieces for the most part, you know, tiles and plates. Yet, just having them stacked on each other in a certain way gives it that perfect dimension that I would expect for this type of wall art. That's, in my opinion, so much more interesting than the wall art we'd see for, like, the Lego art sets. This is something that reminds me of that awesome Spider-Man wall art set. Now look, this being $160 I think is a bit much though. This is something that I thought would be like $120. Okay, with minifigures like that, $130. $160 doesn't feel like it's completely worth it. Again, I love the artwork here and I love the colors and everything there, but it might be too steep. Little things to note, I love how they capture Glinda's bubble with the corner there. I love the design of the yellow brick road with the tile, and if you look, even one of them is a printed 1x2, and how they bring back that oval tile piece that was exclusive to a polybag that went for a lot of money on eBay. I also love how they built the hot air balloon at the very top. This is an awesome set. It's a bit pricey, but yeah, I want the minifigures, and honestly, this is wall art I would probably display, even if I don't care about the Wicked movie too much. And yeah, I don't care about the Wicked movie, but the rest of the sets are kind of awesome too. I know they're mini doll sets, but I like the first wave. I love this second wave. Warning, there might be some spoilers for Wicked for Good. This is Elphaba's Retreat. You know, not too much to say with this one. This one's easily my least favorite. At 228 pieces, this is something that will retail for $28, which is also very steep if you ask me. But it's cool to get Fiero in a cheap set. Glinda's Wedding Day is $40. This one, I love the butterfly builds. Those look great, and the rest of the build, I don't really care too much for. At $40, it's also the cheapest way to get Michelle Yeoh's character, so I really like getting her in a cheap set, and I love the dress that Glinda's wearing, and I wish we got that dress as one of the minifigures for Glinda. She also has a really fun alternate shocked expression headpiece. There's the $80 Emerald City in Kiamo Ko castle. This is almost in the styling of those Disney miniature castle builds, and you get two of them in this set. Both of which have very distinct designs, which I find more interesting than the Disney castles we've gotten. I love the brick-built rainbow here. That's awesome. I haven't really seen that in other sets. And you do have the variants of these characters from that minifigure set we covered in this video, but now as mini dolls. The flying monkey as a Friends figure is hilarious. I love that exclusive piece for the base there, seemingly using the Cupid wing piece. The design of this also having decent interiors, which, you know, it's not miniature like the outside. There's a little spot for Glinda to sleep, which, yeah, the Glinda design, I forgot to say, also uses that new hair piece. It doesn't use the original hair piece from last year. Honestly, Elfie's interior castle just doesn't have too much going on. I like Glinda's castle's entryway more. There's just some interesting patterns on those stickers there. I mean, look at this part right here, as well as this one. There's this $70 Glinda and Elphaba visit Munchkin Land, which has 744 pieces, so good price per piece ratio. This is one very elaborate building with such an interesting roof there. I love the shades of red and orange that they have going on there. The use of this modified 2x2 piece, which I always like seeing pop up. It's cool to see it in orange and red. The tower spire up there, which I love seeing that piece in that color for the base. I don't like how they just have the bubble being half of the bubble. That's kind of annoying. Like, you could have just included a second half of that. So yeah, that doesn't really work. And then you have Bach for the first time as a mini doll, and he's straight up militarized. SpongeBob looks like an Imperial officer in here. It's absolutely insane. The interior for this building has kind of a lot less depth than I thought. I don't really care for stuff like the little bookshelf up here just being a sticker too. Seeing this sticker on the wall, I wish we just got that version of him as opposed to this outfit for him. I love the Beware the Wicked Witch little poster right there. That's pretty fun. But yeah, don't really care about much else in this set. Okay, this little Munchkin Land sign is pretty cool. Keep in mind, all those Wicked sets come out September 1st, as does the last of them, which is this little Brickheads. I don't really care about Brickheads anymore, and we'll get to that in a bit. The design of this crown is probably my favorite part here, where they use that one half of a gem piece, you could call it like a gem tile piece, in that specific color, which I think works really well. The one thing I don't think works well are the dress designs. For some reason, with the dresses up on both of these, it makes it look like these two are pregnant. I don't think that works, in my opinion. And the new Stranger Things set is the Brickheads pack. Yeah, Brickheads $40 4-pack with Mike, Dustin, Lucas, and Will figures from Season 1. This is like when LEGO doesn't make Mario minifigures. Give us another minifigure Stranger Things set. The one from 2019 is one of my favorite LEGO sets of all time. It's one of the best LEGO sets of all time. And then they just dropped that, and the only Stranger Things stuff they've done since is a Brickhead set. And now we're getting another Brickhead set. Isn't that fantastic? I don't know. This just ticks me off, honestly. Sorry to the Brickheads lovers. The design of these have some cool prints, I guess. But yeah, I don't even want to give time to this. Funny, because the last one was based off of Season 1, and that was 16+. This one's just a normal 10+. So yeah, so many great things with these reveals. Not the best prices. I mean, the Mini Doll Wicked sets are priced decently, at least. Let me know which is your favorite out of all of these sets. I don't know which would be my favorite. Either be the Game Boy or be the Arkham Asylum. Subscribe here for more honest LEGO takes. Seriously, you subscribing, liking, and commenting on this video really helps. I mean, the algorithm's rough, and I'll see you later. Peace out. Bye.